And as I mentioned, the L in LA stands for Luka, Jay Will, Monica, Doncic, and the Lakers hosting the Nuggets last night. So sort of a tough night, right? No Jokic, no Jamal Murray, no LeBron James. But Luka took advantage and he put on a show. Early, Monica, he's in his bag.
21 points in the first quarter. I mean, just giving it to you however you might want it. From the three-point line, assists obviously part of his game, and getting into the paint.
Jay Will, how about the range?
You probably want to get out there and blitz him any of those ball screens, and he's so good in isolation.
Look at this.
Just find a way to bully his way to the basket.
Plus the free throw. Lakers up 14, by the way. Here's more Doncic. As Monica mentioned, he had 21 in the first. That's his highest scoring quarter as a Laker. Second quarter, more from him. Someone tell me how this one, Jay Will, you tell me how this one goes in from Doncic in the second quarter. Watch this. Oh, give it up, get it back.
Right back. I mean, that's what you need when you guard him. You need defensive discipline. If you're going to close out, stay down on the closeout. Don't leave your feet.
He can only laugh. He had 31 on the night. You know who else had a big night, Monica? We talked about him the other day. Austin Reeves.
Yeah, and this young man has really come on strong for the Lakers. Not really as of late. I'll just say this season. And you got to give him a lot of credit because his role has changed as this roster has changed. But scoring, check that. He can do that.
It's a shooter's role there. Lakers pulling away. They have a 28-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's Reeves again.
Not pretty. Not pretty, Greeny.
22, so the Lakers win it 120 to 108. So Doncic got off to something of a slow start with the Lakers. He had the calf, everything else. Last 10 games, he's been great. He's the second player in Laker history to average 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists in a 10-game span. The other is LeBron James, who, when he's healthy, is also on this team. The Lakers are a game behind the 2 seed in the West.
Looks like he lost 15 pounds, too.
Well, I mean, that's so that's the thing. He's playing his way into shape, and he's playing his way there. And LeBron, as long as they keep winning these games and holding off, like everyone is in this mad dash. You don't want to be in the play-in. Then you want to make sure you get home court in the first round. The Lakers are kind of holding their own while LeBron is out and injured, and it is Luka who is carrying them.
I mean, look, he's exceptional. When LeBron James comes back, I think they have a legitimate chance, I think, to win an NBA championship. I think that's why you brought Luka on board. As of right now, though, they still won last night, and it's a game they won, but it's a game without Jamal Murray, and it's a game without the Joker, right? So, like, I just want to put that in perspective. I still think Denver is a team that will be there when it's all said and done, and I trust and believe, Monica, that they have not showed the scheme on how they want to play the Joker, nor has Denver actually showed the way they're going to actually utilize the Joker in either half-court or full-court offense. So I think Denver's going to be one of those teams that'll be right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not much to evaluate from this one in Denver because of those absences. But what I will say of the Lakers is that supporting cast. Like, that was the thing. We all sat here and were like, what's it going to look like defensively? Once Luka got going, LeBron was on the floor, they had that little stretch run where we were all like, wow, what's happening? That group, the way that they defend and the way that they run the floor, because LeBron James has made Lakers basketball so easy alongside Luka Doncic, I personally think they should rest him as long as they can. And then when it's time to go, he's got that push for the playoffs.
I mean, so long as they keep treading water. That was the big fear, was especially with this condensed schedule they were dealing with, that they would just fall off a cliff and they would need to rush him back. So far, so good. It's not working out. And again, Luka, you watch him play, and again, reliving this just is what it is, and I don't want to, put the people in Dallas through any more of this, than they have to deal with. But just the fact that they traded this guy, he is carrying this team by himself. And I understand if you choose to focus on the things that he's not great at, i.e. defense, and you worry about him being in shape and all that, then I guess you can choose to focus on those things. But if you watch this guy play, he is one of the best and most entertaining players in the world. He's top 3 of every player in the NBA.
I agree with you. I will say this, though. Who you're surrounded with on a day-to-day basis can make an impact in how you play and also how you...
Absolutely.
They should have surrounded him with those people where he was.
Right?
To give up on... To trade this guy when he was 25 years old is going to wind up being one of the worst trades in the history of the league.
I agree with you. But, you think about the matchup, you don't think so?
Why are you making that face?
It's contingent on how things pan out in Dallas. I still think if that team can get healthy, they got a real shot. Now, healthy might be a bigger and bigger and loftier goal because, golly, we know how terrible it has been on that side. If the Lakers go on to win chips and nothing happens in Dallas, 100%. But I still think there's a world where in 6 years or so, we're sitting back being like, remember that time? And it worked out for both.
But I guess the ceiling is a world championship. But how long is that window open with the way those bodies are constructed?
Yeah.
And that's a legit gamble that Nico and company took for Dallas, right? With a guy like AD. I think AD is an exceptional talent, but his body has showed you that it's not durable.
I don't think Luka has reached his potential yet. That's the terrifying part of all this. I understand he's been a pro since he was 12, but I think, to your point, Luka with LeBron there and with the spotlight that he's going to be in and everything else, I think Luka's going to get better. I think Luka for a decade is going to be one of the 5 best players in the world.
I think the ceiling is exponentially higher that he hits his potential with LeBron James than him being in Dallas trying to build a franchise on his back by himself.
So let's circle it all the way back then to where this conversation began. As we watch the Lakers play, by the way, if the season ended today, and it does not, it would be the Lakers and the Warriors in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. We had a long way to go before we get there. But that right at this minute, that's where they sit. The Lakers sit at 3 and the Warriors sit at 6. We know it isn't. It's going to move around 100 different times in this last month of the season. But right at this minute, I mean, Jay Will said he thinks the ceiling for this team is the whole thing. Can this team go the whole route when LeBron comes back and he's healthy and Luka's got his thing going?
I still got the Thunder coming out of the West.
Right.
I don't think that there's a better team than the Thunder in the Western Conference. But if you told me LeBron James was able to rest the rest of this season and the seeding played out just right and they went on some sort of heater, would I be shocked? No. But I do think people keep saying experience as if the Thunder did not lose a 1-point game in Game 6 last year to the Mavs. They were right there. So the Thunder's experience, I think, should be respected.
No, I think everybody has all this talk about OKC, like, oh, you can lose me with all that talk. Like, defensively, Monica, like, they are legit. They have so many. The Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah, OKC has so many pieces. They could win a championship, and I actually think they're a better matchup for Boston than the Lakers would be.
They're the Thunder right now are the favorites to win the championship. They're the best team in the league. We'll have more NBA as we go. But Jalen Williams had a triple-double. Thunder crushed the Sixers playing without SGA. How would you describe how good this Thunder team is?
I think they're the best defensive team in the NBA, and I think out of all the matchups that they'll have against anybody else, them and the Boston Celtics excite me the most because I think their styles of play actually contradict each other. One is so good defensively, they have all the pieces to guard the Celtics.
Monica, Thunder or the field?
So, I'm still going to go field because, as we have discussed, Greedy, literally top of the segment, while I believe the Thunder are going to come out of the West, if you told me somebody in that 2 seed position or somebody else snuck them, I would be shocked, actually.
Yeah.
But I would be shocked if the Thunder didn't get out of the West. But then once we get to that matchup with the Celtics have the experience.
I think that's the point, is that there are a lot of people out there trying to find reasons to think someone is going to beat them. The Thunder are the best team in the West, and I think it would be a surprise if they don't wind up the last one standing there against someone. Boston, Cleveland, we'll see. Next one. The Knicks lost to the Spurs last night, Jay Will, by 15 points. Without Jalen Brunson, they have really been struggling. What are your thoughts on the Knicks?
I still think even with Jalen Brunson, I don't see them at the top of the class in the Eastern Conference. I think this team lacks the physical toughness that you need in order to go to the next level. I think that's a big question. Karl Anthony Towns is a special player. Love the additions they made. I just don't see them in the same class as the Cavs and the Celtics.
Monica, for those who don't know, Monica is the radio voice of the Knicks, so you know that team about as well as you can know a team. First of all, do we know when Jalen Brunson is coming back? Because obviously that's a major factor.
The latest report was 1 to 2 more weeks. I'm looking at April. That is me observing the situation, knowing how tricky those ankle sprains can be. I'm sure that they would like to see him back on the floor before the playoffs get underway, so I'm looking at April.
Yeah, and so I see the question on the screen, or had been on the screen there for a moment there, and I went out of the order. Was last night a bad game or a bad sign for a Knicks team that seems to be limping a little bit right now?
It was a bad sign in that it reminds you how badly they need Jalen Brunson. I mean, this is a Spurs team who you could debate whether or not they're trying to win, right? And now, granted, Sandro Mamukelashvili had a career night. 7 threes, you run into a buzzsaw. But what has been thematic for the Knicks this season is when they get off to slow starts, it's very difficult for them to find their way back into ball games. And that was even with Jalen Brunson. And so it's a little bit of a bad sign in my mind because of the timing, and you are running out of runway
They're in
to
the
get
same
your point
class
guard
as the
back.
Cavs or the Celtics, in your opinion?
Not right now, and they know that. They've lost. They have not been able to beat them this season.
The bottom line of it is the Knicks are kind of locked into where they are. They're not going to catch 2, and they're not going to fall to 4. So they're rest of the way, they're just kind of treading water. They just need to be as healthy as they can be, and we'll see what they can do. And that brings us to the Cavaliers. They lost to the Kings last night. That's 3 straight losses right now for Cleveland, who's been great all year long. Is there cause for concern here, Jay?
I don't think so with Cleveland. Look, we got 14 games remaining left in the season. I think teams are right now just trying to catch their footing, getting ready for the playoffs. I think Cleveland's going to be fine. It just comes down to, does Cleveland have enough to get by the Boston Celtics? And, same conversation with OKC, Monica, that we end up having.
Yeah.
Until we've seen them do it, people are going to question their ability to do it. It's not saying they can't.
I totally understand the questions around Cleveland, but I do think, and I had a conversation with Donovan Mitchell earlier this season, I think he's in a different place as a point guard, as a leader, understands that he's come up short throughout his career and now how much he needs the rest of his guys. To Jay's point, though, and shout out to Corey Alexander and Michael Grady, we're literally arguing about this weekend. What can you target when you look at Cleveland? The thought is, obviously, you go at DG in terms of their starting lineups. But I think Darius Garland's speed is something that other teams have to account for as well. So if they're playing their best basketball, I really think that could be a 7-game series with Boston.
I love the graphic. They lost their 3rd straight after winning their previous 16.
Yeah.
It was their second 15-game winning streak of the season. So we will see. We'll keep an eye on all of that.